Welcome to the Big Business Blueprint video course. We designed this course for entrepreneurs and business owners who've started their business and are looking to grow their business exponentially within the next 12 months. The course is separated into 7 different modules, with each part covering a specific area of your business. Each module represents a pillar, and mastery of each pillar would help you in strengthening your business foundation. In this first module, we'll cover the first core fundamental, which is your mindset. This is core because all of your actions originate from your thoughts, so it makes perfect sense that if you want to change your results, you must first change your mindset. Why is it that in this world there are rich people and poor people? Have you ever wondered what makes the difference between these two groups of people? What makes them get the results they want in their life? Is it their rich background? I don't think so. I've known people who come from rich families but squandered their family riches over petty squabbles and lavish lifestyles. They end up being rich on paper, but they're neck high in debt. On the other end of the spectrum, I also know millionaires who come from simple, average backgrounds. When they first started, they've had all the reasons to fail and not make it, yet against all odds, they held their ground and now enjoy the riches of their hard work. So if background is not the factor, or resources, what is the deciding factor that will ultimately decide if you will be rich or if your business succeeds? The answer lies between your ears, and that is your mindset. We are the product of what we think. Where we are today is the result of all the decisions we made and did not make. The quality of life that you're enjoying or not enjoying is a result of your thoughts. Success is a choice, and all choices stem from your thoughts. It's an internal game, if you will. 90% of success in business comes from having the right mindset. When you win the internal game, you make better decisions, which ultimately leads to building a 7-figure business and beyond. There is nothing either good or bad. Only thinking makes it so. William Shakespeare. This quote means the way you see things determines if what happens to you adds or subtracts value. Is it your thinking that differentiates a mistake and a lesson? Yes. Therefore, if you want to change the fruit, you must first change the roots. If you want to change the visible, you must first change the invisible. Same goes for business. If you want to take your business to the next level, you must first change your mindset. There are 5 mindsets which, when practiced, form the basis for a 7-figure mindset. Mindset 1. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is the conscious knowledge of one's own character, feelings, motives, and desires. It's how you view yourself from a third party's perspective. For example, when you set for yourself a sales target and you feel fear of achieving it, thinking that it's impossible to do so, then self-awareness at this point would be to acknowledge that you're fearful and start to investigate inwardly to understand, why is there fear of growth? Does it stem from feelings of unworthiness or something even deeper? Having awareness creates the opportunity to make changes in our behaviors and beliefs because we're able to catch disempowering behaviors before they even become a part of our identity. To develop self-awareness, it starts with listening inwardly to your emotions, thoughts, and feelings. You first listen by identifying a situation in which you realize your beliefs don't serve you. Then detach yourself from that situation and inquire, why did you react in this way? Was it conscious, deliberate, on purpose, or was it out of fear, out of some sort of deeper level of fear? When you start practicing this on a daily basis, you'll be able to catch non-serving mindsets, limiting beliefs, and actions before they happen, and turn them into something that serve you better. Self-awareness has 3 aspects: self-control, self-reflection, and self-beliefs. You need to gain mastery over each aspect as a foundation to a bigger mindset. The first aspect is self-control. It's the ability to control oneself in terms of our emotions, our desires, and how we react to other people's behavior, especially in difficult and heated situations. The ability to exert self-control is called willpower. Heard of the quote, "If there's a will, there's a way"? When your willpower is strong, you'll be able to bring your team and company to a higher level and find a way out of challenges and adversities. Next is self-reflection, which is important for self-improvement. This is the part of acknowledging your wins and giving yourself feedback for improvement. To do self-reflection at the end of the day, sit down in a quiet area and reflect on what happened in the day. Was it your biggest lesson of the day? Something you can remember that was outstanding? Did you end the day as to how you intended it to be? Were your daily goals achieved? If not, why do you think it was not achieved? What you can then actively do to prepare for tomorrow and make things better is think. What can you actively do to prepare for tomorrow and make things better? Throughout this process, write your thoughts and suggestions on a piece of paper and have them as your personal or company goals. When you're setting your goals, be honest with yourself. Set goals that you're able to accomplish and strive to improve yourself day by day. This also translates into your company goals. The third aspect of self-awareness is self-belief. This is you believing in your talents and abilities with uncompromising conviction. This is very important because if you don't believe in yourself and don't believe that you're worthy of success, you'll be trapped in a self-fulfilling loop of self-sabotage. Here's a true story, and you've probably heard about this before, but lottery winners go broke within less than a year of collecting their winnings. If you do a web search on lottery winners who went broke, you'll see an extensive list. But why is that? It's because they weren't prepared to receive such a huge lump sum in one go. How big your business grows is proportionate to how big your mindset is. In order for your mindset to grow big, you must first discard your limiting beliefs. Take a look at your current belief system and ask if these beliefs are still serving you, or are they limiting your potential to be better. Discard any beliefs that do not serve or hold you back and install new beliefs that push you forward. Remember that you and your business will only grow as big as you do, so grow yourself and your mindset to be colossal. Mindset 2. Identify the big plan. Complementing your big mindset is having a big plan. Having a plan is crucial as it gives you clarity as to your priorities. To do this, on a piece of paper, write down everything you want to be, do, and have. Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? And what is it that you want to have? You may also list this down specifically for your business. Don't think, just write. Assume that money is not an issue, and if you write it down, it will be successful. So go all out for this. Pause this video, take 15 minutes, and do it now. Yes, now. Next, look at your full list and cross out goals that mean little to nothing to you personally. What I mean by that is if it doesn't excite you, move you, or scare you, cross it out because it would do little to nothing to challenge you to grow. At the end of it, you have a list of goals that truly mean something to you, and these goals are completed successfully. If they're completed successfully, your growth will be a quantum leap. To bring these goals into reality, set a time frame for that goal to be accomplished. Goals and dreams that are not acted upon are just wishes, or words and pictures on a piece of paper at best. For example, your business goal is to grow the business by 30% by setting up 3 more branches within 9 months' time. This is a measurable goal that has a quantifiable growth and a time frame for it to be achieved within. It's important for all of your goals to be quantifiable so you know your measurement of success. Next part is to take massive action. In the pursuit of taking action, you need to be mindful and self-aware of your actions. Are your actions effective and efficient? Are these actions taking you closer or further away from your goal? Track your daily actions in a productivity planner for greatest effect. Mindset 3. Commitment and consistency. Earning a 7-figure income is easy for some, but not all. Above all, success comes with consistency and commitment. In order to earn 7-figure income, you have to commit to learning and evolving constantly. To constantly grow is the only assurance that your business will remain relevant for years to come. And if you're not growing, quite frankly, you're dying. As a leader in your company, You need to handle the direction and strategy of the company. Hence, where the company goes is dependent on your vision of the company. A leader can learn and evolve by having the first mindset shared earlier on reflection. Write out your thoughts and feelings and journey within to get to the root cause of your problems. Thoughts lead to feelings. Feelings lead to actions. And actions lead to results. Here's a surefire way to assist you in improving yourself as a leader. Practice Kaizen. This is the practice of deliberate and continuous improvement. It has its origins in Japan and is roughly translated as, quote, good change. The primary focus of Kaizen is to eliminate waste. Following the Kaizen philosophy, you take small steps forward. The fundamental principle of Kaizen is to take incremental improvements over a period of time. It's a process and a long-term commitment, which means its maximum potential is only realized when it's adopted into your personal lifestyle and company culture fully. Here are 4 steps to practicing Kaizen. Step 1, identify an area which you'd like to improve on. It could be in your personal life or in the business. 2, identify small specific tasks that will contribute towards achieving your goal. This is to approach your objective in a step-by-step approach, and the intention is to make it easy so that you'll start in the first place. Refrain from the urge to do many things at once. 3, prioritize your actions. After listing all the possible actions, balance out prioritization with your schedule. If your schedule is packed, then do the easiest action, which requires the shortest amount of time. If you're feeling motivated and have more time, start with the action that will make the biggest impact to yourself and your company. And step 4, create a timeline for each task. The purpose for this is so that each action that you take gradually develops into a habit. This also helps you to keep track of your progress. Mindset 4. Attitude determines altitude. Excellence is not about skill, but attitude. In order to achieve 7-figure income, you'll have to banish excuses that get in the way. Even when you fail, don't lose hope. Keep striving ahead and do your best. In life, there are no failures, really, only lessons. Just like Albert Einstein, he didn't stop trying even after multiple failures and attempts, because he knew that it was through those failures that he would learn, grow, and never make the same mistake twice. To be a leader, you'll need to be a good role model to your team members. You'll need to develop good habits as a stepping stone to your personal and business success. And when it comes to hiring staff, hire those who display a good attitude as well. How do you know their attitude towards work when you first meet them, though? You'll be able to identify their attitudes through the small things like punctuality, manners, sense of urgency, or willingness to ask relevant questions. The small things sometimes say a lot about a person. Why is attitude so important, and how does attitude play a role in moving the company to a higher level? Well, how you do anything is how you'll do everything. A staff with a good attitude will do anything and everything with their best effort. And these are the kinds of employees that you should look for and surround yourself with to be in your company. Mindset 5. If you're not growing, you're dying. The only thing constant in this world is change, and to keep up with that change and stay relevant means you have to learn. The world is moving forward every hour, every minute, and every second. Therefore, we cannot use yesterday's solutions to solve today's problems. The same goes for mindset. You cannot achieve a 7-figure income with a 3-figure mindset. The gap is just too big. Therefore, you and your team need to commit to growing themselves, not just in their skill and talent, but also mentally, emotionally, physically, and even spiritually. You might be wondering why so many areas. Well, try taking one area out. Does the business or would your staff still be able to contribute to their fullest potential? For example, if you take physical growth and improvement out of the picture, you'll have all of the money in the world, but be ridden with sickness and disease. No matter the amount you earn, your health can never be replaced. And bear in mind, though, if you're learning the wrong things, whatever you do will be wrong. This is when unlearning comes into play. Unlearning is as important as learning. It's a process of setting aside all thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve your interests or your company in today's world. You might find it hard to change yourself or even your habits. But the only time you start to see growth is when you feel uncomfortable. You can never reach a new level if you remain in your comfort zone. It's easy to fall back to your existing mindset if you surround yourself with people who don't support what you're trying to do. If you want to grow emotionally, intellectually, and in business, you've got to make sure that you're growing in an environment surrounded by positive people. These 5 mindsets are the fundamentals to handle your business growth. You may add more to it, and that's fine, but make sure whatever mindset and beliefs you adopt function only to serve and empower you to do better. You've just started your business and sales are probably low, which means profit is low. In this phase, you have 2 options. Either you grow the normal way or you scale fast. And to scale fast, you need to bootstrap. Bootstrapping means using existing resources to scale and grow the company instead of relying on external resources or money. This is beneficial to the business because bootstrapping forces you to think outside of the box and, in the end, realize there was no box to begin with. It's not the lack of resources that stops business owners from moving forward or innovating. It's the lack of resourcefulness that often gets them stuck. Bootstrapping is a situation in which entrepreneurs start a company with not much capital for their business, and bootstrapping is a way to ensure that that business has a positive cash flow. Many entrepreneurs understand the meaning of bootstrapping, that it's when a business borrows less money and the interest cost is reduced too. Bootstrapping is a steady way to begin compelling revenue and to support future investments by providing the business with a safety net for long-term cost management. This will also provide professionals with the peace of mind that they need to focus on building relations with customers and other professionals. Business people don't have to issue equity, and they can concentrate on obligation on individual sources. With bootstrapping, entrepreneurs can't really experiment out of their forte. The first tactic is done is better than perfect. Too many fumble at this phase. They believe that they need to do the best, have the best, and be the best in order to launch a ground-shaking, heaven-splitting, pioneering product. But that's not required. You don't need to be great to start, but you do need to start in order to ever be great. Best is an illusion. Perfection is an even bigger illusion. From my experience, the pursuit of being the best is a fear of rejection, and too many focus on what other people will say. To get started, just get started. Get cracking. Put a time frame and have the product launch within that time frame. In business, if your product is an innovative product, you want to launch it before your competitors leverage off the first mover advantage. This advantage captures the first slice of the market pie, and when done right, it can establish either your position in the market or theirs. Which one do you want? Being perfect will kill your business and your idea because the key insight is this: version 1 is better than version none. Let's continue talking about bootstrapping. If you've just started your business and sales are low, that means profit is low. In this module, you'll learn the second tactic that many entrepreneurs are not aware of at this phase. Tactic number 2 is to use what you have to its maximum ability. This translates into being resourceful. This tactic will save you hundreds and thousands of dollars in the long run. And trust me on this when I say it's worth the effort. Before starting my own business and managing a 7-figure company, I got my business experience from working in the largest fast-moving consumer goods company in the world. The company is now worth billions of dollars and has an annual target of one key business unit in the company of over 150 million US. Yes, it's big. Yes, it's huge, and the numbers are glorious, but I saw its Achilles heel. Its massive size was becoming its bane. There were too many processes. Staff turnover was high, and innovation was low. Our numbers were high, but actually we couldn't sustain it. Targets got higher, the market got more competitive, and the stress level of the company was getting more and more toxic. At some point, everyone was clouded with internal bottlenecks and putting out fires within internal departments. Smaller and newer competitors that came into the market were launching products faster than we could react or even innovate. And by the time we got the first campaign rolling to respond to our competitors' product launches, they had already launched product number 2. What was the difference? How could they launch at such speed? When we analyzed the situation, what I discovered was that because they were smaller, they could move and mobilize more quickly. They were being resourceful with what little they had, while we were dragging our feet. Don't make our mistake. In this module of Big Business Blueprint, you'll understand Tactic 3 as it refers to being innovative. This will help you as a business owner to constantly challenge your business. Tactic number 3, disrupt your own company, or your competitors will. This tactic translates into innovation. As a business owner, your worst enemy is yourself, your own mind. The moment you get complacent is the moment you stop growing. Your complacency is also your comfort zone, and there's only so much growth that can happen in your comfort zone. True story. I've sure you've heard of Uber, an app that makes hiring an on-demand private driver easy. Today, in 2017, Uber is valued at over $66 billion. The entire core function of the business is built on the model of hiring drivers. But guess what their R&D department is doing? They're researching self-driving cars. This means that eventually customers will hire self-driven cars instead of on-demand drivers. If Uber was not disrupting themselves, then Google or Tesla would do it for them. The big picture is these 3 bootstrapping tactics are designed to make you and your company grow with the most effective use of resources. Be obsessed with growth, because that's the quickest way to get to 7 figures. Everything grows, even in nature. Do you know how a lobster grows? The hard shell doesn't grow with the soft body of the lobster. So the hard shell is a fixed size. When the soft body of the lobster grows, it feels discomfort. It expands into all the space within the hard shell. It starts to get really uncomfortable until at a certain point, it knows that it needs to shed its current limiting shell. The lobster then finds a spot under a rock, exits from its hard shell, and waits under that rock for its new layer to harden and grow into its new stature and its new strength. That's how a lobster grows, but I think we can learn from it, and that's how our businesses can grow too. If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. This quote from Milton Berle states that you need to create opportunities and form strategies that will aid in the growth of your $1 million company. One way to construct a $1 million company is to identify a pattern and scale it to the top. For example, Micah Adler, CEO of Fixu, a portable app designer, developed this company from under $1 million in revenue to over $100 million with just $17.6 million in funding and in only 3.5 years after its launch. Some startups begin without any monetization strategy, and that's rather risky if there's no long-term goal. Twitter is an example of this phenomenon, but there are countless other companies out there building up their free user bases, hoping that inspiration and consequently financial stability will eventually strike along the way. But most gainful organizations work from one of 2 conscious models. Either they pitch a ton of modest items to many individuals, or they pitch a couple of big ticket items to a more limited purchaser list. What's more important than choosing is having a defined plan for monetization. Knowing how you'll make money from the start will prevent wasted time spent hoping that something profitable will come together for you miraculously. Hitting $1 million in revenue during your first year is no small feat, and you certainly aren't going to achieve that goal with a team of underperformers. Yes, hiring slackers is cheaper and easier, but you'll pay for this convenience when your end of the year sales numbers come up short, and they definitely will, trust me. Instead, you need to hire all-stars, and the fastest way to do this is to ask around for referrals. Pay particular attention to the sales hires you make, as these key employees stand to make the biggest difference in your business's bottom line. Finally, if you want to shoot for the revenue moon, you need to be absolutely militant about gathering data and acting upon the data, not your gut. When I approach an innovative marketing project, I prefer to work in short sprints of a few weeks or less, where we'll try something new, check the stats to see how the changes impacted revenue, and then either commit the changes or try a new test. Growing a company to $1 million in revenue in your first year isn't easy, but it is possible. Stick to the tips above and be ruthless about profitability. Even if you don't hit this particular goal, You'll earn the strongest sales results possible for your company. Strategy allows organizations to develop a clearer understanding of their own organization and what's required for them to succeed. It helps organizations understand their core capabilities, identify and address weaknesses, and mitigate risks. It can help organizations better design themselves so that they're focusing on the right things that are most likely to deliver the best performance, productivity, and profit both now and in the future. While strategy can be difficult for many organizations to commence, its benefits are far-reaching and many. From creating new business opportunities to streamlining the operations and engaging staff, a well-formulated strategy will enable increased growth, productivity, and profit, both now and into the future. Depending on where you are now in your business, a pay of $1 million may appear to be intimidating or very distant. The trick is to work backwards. That means if you want your business to earn $1 million a year, the business sales target per month is $83,333 a month, or $20,833 a week, or per day, $4,166. Now that there's some clarity, the next question is, where is the business now and what does the business need to reach that target? The reason having a strategy is so important is because it gives businesses time to get a sense of how they're performing, what their capabilities are, and if these capabilities are able to help them grow. A strategy can identify trends and opportunities in the future. It can examine the broader changes in the market, such as political, social, or technological changes, as well as consumer changes, and develop tactics so your business can modify and develop to suit these future changes. By creating a business strategy, a company can create a competitive advantage and ultimately understand more about themselves and where they're going. In summary, when you're bootstrapping, work your current resources to their maximum potential and be creative about it. Explore different perspectives and seek for alternatives. Operate the business on its bare necessities to keep the margins high and be obsessed with creating value. So, how to generate profitable offer ideas? Ideas are the bread and butter of the company. A great idea will skyrocket a company quickly to 7 figures, more quickly than you can imagine, and your offer to your consumers will keep the business engine running. The 5 most innovative companies in the world, as reported by Forbes, are Amazon, Google, Uber, Apple, and Snap. These companies are valued in the hundreds of billions and transact hundreds of millions a day. But how do these companies start? Well, with an idea. Apple was started by Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs in a garage on a vision to have a computer for the rest of us. Back then, having a computer was nearly impossible. It wasn't commonly thought of by consumers because the cost was high and the size and form factor were not convenient. But today, because Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs didn't stop pursuing their vision, Apple is valued at close to $1 trillion. Meanwhile, the famous search engine, Google, was also crafted based on Larry Page's idea of exploring mathematical properties of the World Wide Web, understanding its link structure, and creating it in a huge graph. Google was then officially established in 1998. This goes to show that generating that drop-dead idea that's going to start the world on fire is possible, as projected by these innovative companies. When you see something that piques your interest, ask yourself this: what is it about this situation that's special? Then narrow down your focus so you familiarize yourself with the idea. However, before generating your ideas, there are certain steps to be taken into consideration to ensure that your thought processes are in line with the outcome that you want to achieve. These tactics will ensure the effectiveness of generating your profitable offer ideas, which will be discussed in the next module. The first tactic in generating profitable offer ideas is by having a vision. Before starting with any ideas, you must first start with your vision. What's the vision of your company? Your vision is what will be the guiding light for all of your ideas to take shape, because you can come out with as many ideas as you want, but the question is, could you really execute all of them? Well, time as well as resources to execute the idea, all of the ideas, are limited. There are only 24 hours in a day and only so much of financial resource to go around that you can leverage, which means you want those ideas to be congruent and aligned to your vision for the company. You'd go bankrupt and you'd waste a lot of time in executing all of the ideas you have. Therefore, it's crucial to have a vision that you can focus on that will give you a clearer understanding on what it is that you ultimately want to achieve. To help you in generating your vision, try to ask these fundamental questions. What is your why? Why is this business important to you? Why did you start the company in the first place? Why this and not something else? These are all important questions which will give direction to evaluate which idea is most suited to your company. Take a moment, pause the video, and answer these questions. Don't worry about having the best vision because in our previous module, we learned there is no such thing as best. The most vital component is to identify what resonates with you. Thousands of people have taken up their hobbies and turned them into successful businesses. So think of your why now. For instance, Tim and Nina Zagat, who launched the Zagat Surveys, a publishing empire that sells restaurant guides for many major USA and European cities. In the early 1970s, the Zagats were high-priced corporate attorneys who had the passion of dining out. For fun, they created a newsletter, which they distributed to close friends to rank popular restaurants in several categories. Each year, the newsletter encompassed more restaurants, and in the end, the couple began charging money for it to reduce their expenses as it became so time-consuming and actually cost them money to produce. Identifying your interest and what resonates with you is important because when you or the company is faced with a tough situation, your passion and commitment to that vision will push or pull you through. So pause this video, take 20 minutes, and answer those questions. Welcome back. Did you get your vision nailed down? It's okay if it's version 1 because version 1, again, is better than version none. In this module, we'll be looking at your target audience in order to give more focus in generating your ideas. With your vision, the next question is whom are you serving? This would be your target audience. If you don't know who you're serving, then you'll be serving everyone who ultimately makes your company confused, and the allocation of your resources will not be effective or efficient. It only projects lack of focus. You need to know who are they? Why them? What are their needs and wants? What problems are they facing? This is important because one of the ways you add value is, in most cases, solving problems. How well you solve your customers' problems is in direct relation to how much your target audience will pay. For example, if you're planning to operate a restaurant, focus on the theme of the restaurant. What type of food will you want to serve? And also the price range. This will set your standards as well as setting your niche, and inevitably pull the supposed audience in your favor. When you've gotten a clearer picture of your audience, next is to seek and establish relevance to them. How would your company, products, or services help to solve their problems? Write down as many ways as you can think of. Those ways are now your prototype of your company, products, and services. Your next task is to then test it out and seek for proof of concept. You do this by selecting the one product that would solve the biggest problem of your audience. Put it out into the market by doing research and asking your audience if they would buy it and actually start selling it. Collect the money, and then you create the product. Yes, sell first, collect the money, and then create the product. Now, if you're thinking that that's tricking your customers, well, it isn't. There have been too many companies that create the product first and only then find the target market to sell to, which, I mean, to me, it's insane. These companies would pump thousands of dollars into product research and development only to find out that it's not even what their customers want in the first place. So avoid wasting your resources and time and prove the concept with money, their money. This method is called failing forward fast. The process is this. You want to get an idea quickly that solves the biggest problem of your target audience. Ask if they would buy it, sell it to them, get the money, and with that money, you go to a manufacturer and make the product. Now, of course, you would have settled all the gaps required in between, like actually having a manufacturer on standby, a prototype product, a sales offer, discount for early buyers, and a registered company so that you're legal. If you don't have any of these, then yes, you are involved in a scam and you should rethink your strategy. The reason for failing forward fast is so you can get the key insights to come out with a version 2 of the product. You also need to sell and collect the money up front because sometimes what your audience says they'll pay and what they actually pay is different. The moment of truth is when they reach into their pockets and actually hand you the money. That's when you know you've found an initial product worth investing your R&D dollars into. The following tactic to generate profitable offer ideas is to do a brainstorming session on product ideas. Ideally, your brainstorm should be with max 5 people because too many people dilutes the quality of the brainstorm session. Imagine 30 people in a room doing a brainstorm. Not impossible, but it would definitely be less effective. As you're brainstorming, put the ideas and suggestions into a mind map. This makes it easier for you to refer back to the ideas after the brainstorm. There are 5 simple steps to do an effective brainstorm. The first step is to set the context. This means that the tone and intention of the brainstorm is clarified up front. There's no right or wrong answer, and the focus on the brainstorming session is just to generate ideas. The last thing you want happening is for your people to withhold their ideas for fear of being rejected or ridiculed. Therefore, it's the responsibility of the meeting lead to set the climate for ideas to flow. You may also want to put on some brain music, generally classical songs, to get the creative juices flowing. Steps 2 and 3 are to start the brainstorm and get the ideas flowing. The idea is to turn it into a game, where the game is to imagine that there is a balloon that's being thrown around in the room. Every time someone speaks, the balloon bounces from one person to another, and it keeps afloat every time there is silence. The balloon floats closer to the ground. The moment silence passes too long, the balloon pops, and the process starts again. This makes the session fun and engaging. Step 4 is when the session is done, ideally after 20 to 30 minutes, evaluate the ideas. Discuss and decide with the team on what is the biggest problem faced by the target audience and which idea solves their problem. After a decision is made, you move on to step 5, where you write out action points. This then moves into the execution phase. Here, you list down all the required actions to bring the idea to life and assign these action points to your team. All action points must have a person in charge, otherwise there'll be a gap in your execution. The previous tactics in generating profitable ideas was designed to create new products. In this module, we'll discuss a way to shorten the idea creation time, and that is to reinvent the wheel. Yes, you must have heard the saying to not reinvent the wheel, which translates into don't be a pioneer and just take something that's already there. Well, that's true. However, when it comes to ideas, you would want to reinvent it. It's not about who did it first, but it's about who does it best. Our society is made to believe that everything is already set and there's no room for innovation. The truth, however, is without entrepreneurs coming in with new ideas or bettering previous processes, the world would be dull and boring. So always remember, it's not who did it first, but who does it best. And if you're fortunate enough to become your own business leader, you'll get an idea of where you need to reinvent yourself so competitors don't catch up on you. Remember to take the leap. Sometimes you just have to jump and take the risk to see if your ideas are worthy in competing in the current market. You'll never know unless you try. For instance, Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, started off his days as a student in Harvard University, where his idea eventually gained popularity and then traversed the universe. It's very easy to lose focus when you feel you have odds stacked against you, and competition will always be there, so might as well just do it. We'll have more in-depth discussion regarding this tactic in the next module, so I'll see you there. So this is the second part of how to generate profitable offer ideas tactics, reinventing the wheel specifically. Reinventing in this context means taking an existing idea, stripping it down to its bare components, and then finding its key lever points and making it even better, even faster, and easier. The intention is to question the current ways of solving problems and getting things done. Just because it's always been done this way doesn't mean that this way is the best way. For example, the house rental market has been rather straightforward. You rent a house by entering into a contract with a landlord that decides the duration of rent and cost of rent with other terms and conditions. This has been going on for ages. Then you strip down all the components of this practice, which in this case is the landlord, tenant, rental, terms and conditions, contract, and home. You'll have the individual pieces that you then need to piece it together to create a new picture. So there would be questions like, what if the tenant was the landlord? What if rental was shorter and more affordable? What if I didn't need to book expensive hotels during my holiday? What if I could meet new people along the way? Breaking down these components is exactly what gave birth to Airbnb. If you don't know about it, Airbnb is an online marketplace where people can lease and rent short-term accommodations. This covers a wide range of vacation homes, apartments, homestays, hotels, and hostels. Today, Airbnb is valued at $31 billion. Just amazing. There are many more ways that you can use to generate ideas, but don't get caught up with finding the best way. Just pick one and get it done with. Remember that version 1 is always better than version none.